maybe composition is a movement. I was thinking about that while I was making this painting. Maybe composition is nothing else than a movement, that a painter wants to move your eye towards the focus point, towards that piece what is important. And this must be an easy-going movement. When a painter hesitates somewhere in the painting, you will see it. So you have to make your choices fast. Don't think, just watch and paint.
Art in the Making. A podcast about the making process.
What I don't realize maybe these weeks are that these are quite special. As I told you earlier, I thought I told you that I've been doing so many commission paintings, and there are a lot to come as well. But these have to wait. The clients prefer more flowers in the garden and green in the trees. So actually I'm free these weeks. And I didn't realize this. I'm so used to work on discipline that I got up every morning and worked very hard. And I really enjoyed working hard because when I'm working, I realize I'm free in the subjects. So I feel that I'm really used to choose watercolor, and I'm used to choose the cityscapes as a subject. And I'm just painting cityscapes now. And I was in Amsterdam last week as well for a commission painting already. These people want me to paint a part of town that I normally don't choose. I always choose the canals. These are so famous and so typical romantic Amsterdam kind of Dutch. But when clients ask you for another part, it's good to have a look over there. And it was a sunny day, there was no wind. I like that, as you know, no wind on the water. And I was really amazed by the beauty of this part. And I know this part, but I didn't take any time before to paint it. I would have done it if I had lived in Amsterdam. I would have chosen to paint these parts, but that's what I do in The Hague. I'm here every day, so then you choose more different parts to paint. But when you go to Amsterdam just for one day to look for a nice spot to paint, then you are maybe more used to choose the more famous parts. But for the development as a painter, these are special days. I mean, I feel totally free in choosing my subjects. And the thing I notice is that making paintings is going very fast. So I'm working sometimes just one single day on a larger watercolor. And for me, that's really fast. Sometimes there is a smaller watercolor made in one day or even one afternoon, but making several larger watercolor paintings in one single day, for me that's fast. The reason why this is possible is just because these are coming from my fascination, and I don't have to talk about a composition with someone. I just see what I want to paint. I already have a complete kind of plan in my head how to do it, and I only have to paint it. But being free when you have been working on discipline is maybe not that easy. It doesn't feel free actually. Maybe it will free when I remember these weeks later in the near future. But you are totally depending on your your commissions actually as a independent artist. So being free is totally free is not that easy to get, to feel, to experience. And on the background, I'm of course really busy with the business. Me and the framer are doing 2 projects for maybe this summer. I'm working on another website because I would like to paint more than only house portraits. I like to paint water reflections. So I'm trying to do boats, sketching boats, finding nice boats in harbors. And I'm working on a website with these new paintings. And hopefully I could advertise with this this summer. And maybe that would be a nice change in the subject, so that I'm not only painting house portraits, but boat portraits too. So that's quite a lot of work altogether. But being here in the studio alone with that watercolor, it's really good to do. I lose myself totally in the paintings, and I'm really good friends with the watercolor paint. We didn't do any watercolors at the academy. It was only charcoal and oil paint. And when you are used to work with a paint that just follows your plans in your hand, your brush, then oil paint is really the best paint to use. But I prefer working together with that really strange, surprising kind of watercolor that always is going its own way. And of course, after several years, you know what you can expect. But even then, it's surprisingly different sometimes. You have a question, you have a problem, you are trying something on the paper, and then the answer will come from the watercolor. And of course, there are rules and there are ways to do it. But the pleasure is in the game, in just exploring and playing and those happy accidents. And when the painting is not commissioned, you feel, of course, more free to play with this. Because who cares when you waste it? There's no problem at all. And actually, I haven't wasted any painting these days. So I'm really looking forward what this week will bring. And well, let's go to work. So normally I make several sketches. No, not several, one or two for a client, and then we have a chat about a composition and my choice, and then they have to choose as well, and then we make our choice together and I start the painting. But cycling through this part of town where clients want me to make a painting, I was really fascinated by the beauty of this part. I knew this part, but I never took any chance to paint it, because you're so used to paint the more famous canals, romantic spots in Amsterdam, and that they are absolutely fabulous. But this is more, how can I describe this in English? Maybe it's more a rough, not rough, but realistic, real part of town where the locals live. Maybe that's more a good explanation. This is where the locals live, and maybe less important, less beautiful for most of the tourists. No museums, no famous spots, but it's beautiful. I like this fence. I like to draw a fence and repeating all those lines. This is really drawing, and then it starts here and it even disappears, and then it comes back and it finds its way over there. Maybe composition is a movement. I was thinking about that while I was making this painting. Maybe composition is nothing else than a movement, that a painter wants to move your eye towards the focus point, towards that piece what is important. And this must be an easy-going movement, like traffic. It's really nice to do a road trip when it's not busy on the road and there are no traffic lights and no hesitating people. You just can drive. And with watching a painting, it must be the same. It must be an easy-going movement without any hesitating. When a painter hesitates somewhere in a painting, you will see it. So you have to make your choices fast. Don't think, just watch and paint. And of course, this must be done very fast, and then those straight lines, those vertical lines, they come back over here again, all those windows. It's all vertical, so I was really, really thankful for those people who put these cadmium orange sunscreens over there. This is pure cadmium orange, just not mixed, but just out of the tube, like this cold yellow as well. It doesn't need any shadow. It's absorbing so much light that you can put pure yellow over there and a pure cadmium over there, and you need it. When you don't have these pure colors, the painting is gray, and gray is fine. I prefer to work in grays. I want to create depth. I do this with grays, cold grays, warm grays, dark grays, transparent grays. But these are all grays, and you need to show that you use grays by using strong, pure colors as well, and then the grays become sparkling, become bright as well. Lots of lines. Look at those cables over here for not only for the lights, but there is a tram driving over here as well, so there are more lines for that too. And it's all straight. It's all quite tough actually, and a lot of work. But then we have those more loose, playful, moving lines in the reflections on the water. I made another painting last Monday from that part here nearby that I painted, I thought last week as well. I like that bridge. Maybe I like bridges. And this is so classic, this bridge. Look at those lanterns. We are standing on the bridge. So someone on Instagram or Facebook wrote me, I don't see any bridge. And that's true. We are standing on the bridge. The bridge is crossing the water over here, where we're looking towards the street, the Weimar Street. It's a nice street with shops and pubs and restaurants and so on. And the beginning was the same. A client asked me to paint her house portrait, but she was in doubt if she wanted to let me paint a house portrait or a painting of this street, which she really likes, and she's passing it every day by bike. And she chose for a house portrait, but I'm still working now on some paintings of this street because I just like this street. I made this block over here very flat and large. I don't know if I can explain why, but it's just a feeling, and I think composition is about that movement, what I try to explain, and that's a feeling. I mean, there are many rules for composition, there are rules for everything. But as you maybe notice, in my opinion, it's only about what you feel. It's about experience, because all the rules that artists in history made for us, all the rules were made by what they felt, what they experienced. You just feel that it's right, or you feel that the composition is not in balance. Yeah, I like to play with that flat surface with lots of life going on over here, that contrast. I could have made it strong green, strong yellows, dark yellow, strong red as well. It would have been fine, I think. It would have worked out really well, but I'm quite careful with those strong colors, as you know. So I only put the strong color over here again, like that woman or man with that yellow jacket in that other painting in Amsterdam. You need a red jacket or a green jacket to show the cold and warm grays that you use. You see those grays better. They are easier to see when they are interrupted by a strong, pure color. That's my opinion. And there was absolutely no man on a bicycle with a red jacket, and there was no woman with a green jacket, but I just painted them over there. Yeah, and then here, this is typically watercolor for me. So you have this flat, large surface over here. You need to create a little bit of depth by this reflecting hard light of the beginning of the fence, and here just a little bit of light because it pops out. But then when this is red, you can splash paint on it, you can spray water over it, and you let the watercolor paint do its work. As long as you make sure that here it remains dry and here it remains wet, this whole game will be played only in this wet object, this wet surface. Yeah, and that's so nice to play with. I really like it. And I like this bridge, I like these lanterns. Look how beautiful, classic these are. So that was a good week. It was a productive week. Almost 3 paintings in 4 days. 2 larger ones, and well, this one will be finished, I think, in 1 hour this Monday. It's the same part as that larger one. I have to do the highlights this Monday. And some trees, people, maybe a red jacket. Well, thank you again for joining me this week in the adventure, and enjoy the weekend. And then I'll see you next week.